A known celebrity decided to get involved in the masked discussion. Take a look at this. Joe Biden puts out the tweet, "Wear a mask." Actress Lee Allen Baker says, "No, thank you. It's not law, just an overreaching suggestion, but you do you," right? Seems innocuous enough. Well, she came under massive attack. All sorts of hating tweets and even articles like these. The Good Luck Charlie mom is an anti-vaxxer and anti-masker. Also, Disney Channel fans are canceling Amy Duncan from Good Luck Charlie after a tweet from Lee Allen Baker. Well, I am proud to have with me right now star, charmed, Will and Grace, Good Luck Charlie, who is now a brave superhero being presented on the HighWire. Welcome, and thank you for joining me, Lee Allen Baker.
Oh my gosh, Del, I'm so relieved to be finally speaking out and sharing my story. You know, I've been one of the silent people with injured children who have hidden behind you, rooting you on for years. And it's time that I stand beside you because, you know, my children are worth protecting, and I just want to say thank you.
You're very welcome. You know, Lee Allen, first of all, I want to congratulate you. I think you're the first official person to be called an anti-masker and an anti-vaxxer in the same headline. You beat me there.
Well,
I don't know how you did it.
I'm a bit of an overachiever. I don't know if you know that about me, but I say go big and go home, right?
Absolutely. So, you know, you got involved. You've put out tweets, you know, about masks. You've been stating your opinion about, you know, I would call these draconian measures. How has the response been? I mean, I saw some really ugly tweets that, you know, reference wanting to see you and your children dead, buried in the ground, all sorts of really horrific, violent, let's just say, discussions.
Yeah, they have wanted, they want us all to get COVID and die, for sure, and then to be beaten and, you know,
do you think the media is pushing people to this level of hatred to be responding in ways that, I mean, these aren't just disagreements, these are violent statements made towards you. Do you think this would just naturally happen, and do you think that they feel like they're supported and okay in making statements like that?
You know, some of these statements I feel are from bogus sites because they're news sites that have no followers and are following like 6 people. So I'm definitely being targeted, probably, you know, by this gentleman you were referring to earlier and their little campaign. Other times I'm a little bit nervous. In fact, I do want to request that people's names are removed because I sometimes feel that there are kids and teenagers who think that they're fighting a good fight and they don't know any better, and they think they're standing up for justice, and I don't want this to haunt them because they're young and they don't know, and I don't want them to get in trouble. I know that sounds weird because they've wished me to die, but you know, these are kids that I don't want to get in trouble too sometimes.
Why, you know, what inspired you to, I mean, you have to know. I mean, it's not lost on you. I know other celebrities that talk to me and say, I'm really trying to get up the courage to come out and speak. We've watched Rob Schneider make some brilliant statements, but then get attacked in the media. Of course, you know, we've got Jenny McCarthy. So there's this road out there that as any actor, I think you have got to look at it and say, I know what I'm about to get into, or did you? You know, how did you make that decision that I want to start speaking my truth?
I've always been a person who wants to speak my truth. And when your kids are almost killed by this, and the doctors know it, and then your governor of the state of California, Governor Newsom, passes a law to take away my children's medical exemptions, it's like we're in the end game. And I've got no choice. I didn't want to move out of California, but quite frankly, I feel like they have a loaded gun against my children's head. I didn't want them to be vaccine injured. This is not fun for me. I get nothing out of this that is good, nothing. I have children who will pay the price for the rest of their life for a decision that I made. I will forever regret that. I will forever regret that.
When you put out these posts,
but there comes a point where I have to speak out about it, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't do me any good to hide. People, our government officials, they speak out and they say there is a certain group of people who will get injured from this. Bill Gates has said there will be risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, so we need full indemnity from liability. That's his quote. Okay,
wow.
Well, I'm not willing to murder my children for the greater good. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do that. Right. So it's now time to speak up, specifically with this one vaccine. And like I said, this is nothing that I wanted. I wish this weren't my story, but it is. And so it's time to speak up and protect my kids and my family.
It's amazing to me, and I've obviously interviewed thousands of parents of vaccine-injured children, and we watched Bill Gates talk about the greater good and this accepted casualty. They know there's injuries they don't like talking about. They know there's deaths. They don't like talking about it. But I find it shocking that they don't celebrate those that have made the sacrifice to the greater good, people that did believe in the program, that did end up having their children be injured, maimed, sometimes for life. And I think that's why it's so important when people like you speak out that really do have a voice and a visibility, because there are so many silenced mothers and fathers and grandparents out there going through an incredibly difficult situation.
Yes,
and we don't celebrate them when we should. If we really believed in this, we should at least say, "You're heroes. Thank you for putting your soldiers on the front line for the rest of us."
It didn't work out for us. Yes, thank you for trying. It did not work out for us. But that's the point, is that they don't want to celebrate that. It's like if we lose even one person to COVID, that is one person too many. But if we lose all these people to the vaccine, oh, well, then that's okay. That's for the greater good. Yeah, I'm not singing that song anymore. Not when it's my kids' lives hanging in the balance.
Good for you. So,
what they want to do is pit us against one another, right? They want to do anti-mask versus mask, anti-vax versus vax, black versus white, Democrat versus Republican. This is all in an election year to get us to focus on hating one another, so we don't focus on what all the politicians are doing to us.
That's absolutely right. Well stated. When you put out this, and look, we put out the tweets, you're there. I don't want to just talk about the negative. Obviously, you're speaking for what we just heard is an enormous and growing movement. Did you also get positive responses from your tweets and speaking out?
I will say that I got way more positive responses than I did negative. And I got responses from children who have been vaccine injured that, my children are young, but there are children that are teenagers that have platforms now that they themselves have been injured and are able to send me a message saying, thanks, I can't walk since having my vaccine, and thank you for speaking out for us. And I haven't been able to do this, that, or the other since my vaccine injury, and thank you for speaking out for me, and thank you for standing up for me.
Are you worried this is going to affect your career?
I will probably not be working again. Of course, it's going to. Disney Channel is not going to hire me because my children were injured. And I was very naive about this. I thought that people would have compassion for the bad luck of the draw on this, really. And there has been none. There has been none. And so, yes, I will probably not work again, except for the fact that there is a really wonderful community out there that is making movies, and I just did one. And these are good-hearted, good-natured people that are interested in the truth of everything coming out. And so I've, developed a really great working relationship with them. I'm just finishing up a movie here in Edmond, Oklahoma. And so hopefully there will be light at the end of this tunnel for me.
I believe there will be, and for those of you that are watching, you know, we're expanding our studio and our work at the HighWire. We want to do more productions, and I actually hope we get to work together. I do see a future with more films, both narrative and documentary, more voices putting out news and talk shows. We are becoming big enough to make a difference, and I think we're big enough, and with the, you know, millions and millions of people around the world, I believe that there is an audience out there that has the funds. So again, all of this is what we're a part of, and I want and I hope that you're stepping out and being courageous is being heard by the other actors and directors and producers and people of Hollywood that are either suffering at home with your injured children or simply aren't vaccinating because, you know, you knew Lee Allen and you knew her story and you said, you know what, that's not going to be for me. I agree with you. We are in the end game here. It's the final battlefield. We will either have control over our own bodies or we will not. We will either be the ones that are guiding our children through their lives or they will be government property. I don't think there's any two ways about this. What they're trying to say is we are not human beings. We have no rights to ourselves. We are cattle. We are the herd they're referring to us as, and they consider us public property. I think it's a shame on Disney to not support you. When I think about Sesame Street wants to have an autistic puppet, yet if an actor or an actress comes out to actually talk about what autism is like at home and how it started, then you lose your career. It's so disingenuous.
Yes. And I will tell you, too, that because I know there's going to be a lot of pushback on the autism word, my children do not have autism. My children had very, very specific physical symptoms after every inoculation, culminating in some pretty serious neurological trauma and seizures, and so big that they could not be ignored. And you're right, on Good Luck Charlie, I was very proud that there was an episode that we did where a child with two parents of the same sex were represented. And the reason I was proud of that is because I believe that every child, in whatever situation they're in, deserves to have a voice and have their story told. Mm-hmm. So I was really proud to be a part of this episode about the girl that's got, oh yeah, she's got two moms, you know, no big deal. And yet, oh my gosh, don't you dare mention that a child has been injured or killed by a vaccine. Right. It's just, it's mind-blowing to me that this inconvenient truth is being shoved under the rug and we're being punished and, quite frankly, labeled murderers.
Well, Lee Allen, I think you've made a huge step forward, as so many have, with your courage and your desire to be brave. I think we've taken a giant step just this week in the work that you've done, and I want to thank you. And I want to thank all of the other actors and directors and producers, scientists and doctors that are going to step out and be courageous because you know the truth. We are laying the groundwork for the future world we want to live in. This should all be on the table. These are real discussions. There's real data to be collected, and there's real understanding to be had. We cannot just tell the best case scenario stories, even of that, you know, high-functioning Asperger's kid that goes on to be a doctor. There's also the one that does not, the one that will be in diapers for the rest of their lives, and the beautiful parent story that are there supporting those children. Or those that aren't dealing with autism in any way, but as you said, have seizures or other major autoimmune or neurological disorders, which have skyrocketed from 12.8% of our children in the 1980s to now 54% of our children. Lee Allen Baker, you are standing up for that gigantic rise in that huge population of children and parents. So for all of them, I'm sure they are with me when I say, thank you for your courage, and I look forward to maybe having you come on and talk to us more in the future.
Absolutely. It's been my honor. And, you know, let's do this. We got to stick together and get through this. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. I'll see you out there. Take care. Thank you for your time. If you liked that clip, then be sure to check out our live broadcast of the HighWire every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, and Twitter. We'll see you there.